In the silence of the void, reputation is a fragile shield. For 17 cycles, I have watched the galaxy's elite pass through the halls of Caldrath Military Academy. Proud, four-armed Valerans, methodical Quarren, and massive Grenic, who strike like asteroids. When High Command admitted humans, those Deathworlders from Earth, the faculty lounge echoed with laughter. We saw them as soft, transient curiosities destined to wash out against coalition protocols. We were wrong. In tales like this, one often realizes too late that calmness should not be mistaken for harmlessness. A lesson the galaxy learned the day Riley Grant walked onto Combat Deck 7. It began with deceptive levity. Marcus Webb and Riley Grant entered my advanced combat theory class like a pair of orbiting stars. Marcus, tall with a perpetually messy mop of hair and an irreverent grin. Riley, compact, her eyes cataloging every threat in the room within seconds. They possessed that indefinable, unspoken bond often seen in species who survive by pack instincts. When Marcus interrupted my orientation to ask about a meal plan because he didn't pack enough protein bars, the class erupted in mirth. Even I flicked my tongue in amusement. It was charming, primitive humor. We didn't see the steel beneath the smile. The catalyst was Commander Thrace Vuland. A 9-foot brooter, Thrace was 600 pounds of dense muscle and fragile ego. A bully disguised in an officer's uniform. He fed on breaking spirits, wearing a twitching smile whenever pain was inflicted. During Week 3, he demanded a volunteer for a real combat demonstration on Deck 7. No holograms, just pain. Marcus, ever the optimist, stepped forward despite Riley's urgent warnings. Thrace declared there were no rules, that enemies would show no mercy. The match was a massacre disguised as a lesson. Marcus used human martial arts to deflect the initial assault, shocking us all. But physics is a cruel mistress. Thrace overwhelmed him, trapping Marcus's arm and bringing a fist down on his ribs like a pile driver. The wet, crunching crack echoed through the deck. As Marcus turned blue, gasping through a collapsed lung, Thrace merely sneered, calling it a lesson on the dangers of aggression. Riley didn't scream. She didn't cry. She went into a silence so profound it felt like the pressure drop before a storm. It was the quiet of a predator calculating the exact cost of a kill. The next day, Riley requested a training session with Thrace. The commander accepted, mocking her, offering to use only 50% of his power. "You should use 100%, Riley replied, her voice dead flat. "You are going to need it." Thrace opened with a strike that displaced the air, a blow meant to shatter. Riley simply wasn't there. She flowed around him like smoke, slipping inside his guard. She didn't trade blows. She dismantled him. She targeted nerve clusters, joints, and soft tissue, turning his mass into a liability. It was thousands of years of human evolution on display. Apex predators who learned that when you are the smaller beast, you must be the smarter one. Frustrated, Thrace roared and swung wild. Riley smiled, a terrifying, cold expression, and swept his tree-trunk legs. As he fell, she isolated his right arm, the same limb that had crushed Marcus. With the leverage of a professional grappler, she applied a joint lock. A sharp crack silenced the room. But she didn't stop. With steady, methodical pressure, she pulled. The sound that followed was a wet tearing that haunts my dreams. Riley stood up, holding the bruter's severed arm, blood pooling at her feet. She dropped the limb onto his convulsing chest. "You broke Marcus's ribs and smiled," she announced to the frozen crowd. "I have taken your arm. That seems proportional. The fallout was immediate. Thrace survived, barely, but his career was ash. In the subsequent investigation, Admiral Kessex threatened Riley with expulsion and assault charges. Riley remained unmoved, projecting medical scans of Marcus's injuries. She argued that Thrace, with his experience, had applied lethal force against a defenseless student. "On Earth," she said, "you do not threaten the pack. Marcus is my pack." She framed her violence as a necessary, calculated response to an attempted murder. The board, stunned by her logic and the brutality of the evidence, capitulated. Thrace was forced into retirement. Riley received mere probation. When Marcus was released from medical, battered but smiling, Riley finally broke down, weeping into his shoulder, a reminder that their ferocity is born of love, not hate. Now, when new cadets mock the fragile humans, I tell them this story. I tell them that humans are peaceful, cooperative, and kind, right up until the moment you threaten what is theirs. Then they become what they have always been, survivors who chose civilization but never forgot how to hunt.